country. Mos Def has been accused of flouting South Africa's immigration laws. The rapper returns to court in March, but his family has been ordered to leave the country by the end of the month. We talk now to Home Affairs Director General Mkuseli Apleni. Good evening to you, Mr. Apleni, and welcome to Newsnight. What is a world passport, and why is South Africa not a signatory to it?
Good evening to you and as well as the viewers. South Africa is a state and is gone back to the global village, that is means other countries in the world. There are agreed protocols of how nationals of one country can travel to the other. What has been agreed upon is this document, we called it a passport. So as a South African government, we recognize a passport which is issued by another state. However, there are other additional international organizations which we accept the passport from, like the UN, the African Union, the SADC, and the African Bank. So in our immigration regulations, those international organizations are clearly spelled out there. And remember that a passport can be fraudulently obtained by anybody. That's why now, as the countries of the world, we've got specimen of each passport of any country, which we load them in our electronic systems. And then when you are a traveler from that particular country, when I take your passport and I check it on my system, it does not just check you, but it also check whether this passport which you are carrying is really from the country which you have. Therefore, this world passport is not something which we recognize as a South African government. I don't know what are the security features which are in that passport which would make me at any point to know about this person is traveling with that particular passport which has been issued by that.
So, Mr. Apleni, if he hadn't produced the world passport but had produced his US passport, which I believe expires in February at some time, he would have been okay?
Exactly. We want to emphasize that to say Mr. Mos Def was legally in the country from the date of entry, which was the 30th of November, up to the 28th of February. He has been will be a legal person in our country. So the issue which we had with him has got nothing to do with his visa or his US passport. The matter is that when he wanted to leave the country on the 9th of January, he came to our immigration officers with this document called a world passport, which we do not recognize.
All right, so it seems quite cut and dried, Mr. Apleni, from what you describe. What will happen when he appears in court in March? And if you compare his case to other cases, is this the conventional protocol that must be activated when a case like this presents itself? In other words, is this normal practice?
Yeah. Well, why we have immigration officers in our ports of entry is to make sure that people, they do comply with the Immigration Act. Is not the first person who has contravened the Immigration Act, and people contravene that act in a variety of situations, whether they overstay or they come with a fraudulent document and all those kind of things. And then based on that, which we are a constitutional state, as we know in South Africa that we are honest until proven guilty. So at the moment, there are these charges based on the allegations, based on what we have. Then a court process will be able now to determine whether are we correct as a Department of Home Affairs to interpret that immigration clause which we are saying he has broken, or we are not. Then based on that, presiding officer can say there's nothing he has done wrong within this country, or if there's something wrong which he has done, then it's them who will also decide what sanction he must get.
his U.S. visa, or his U.S. visa will have expired by that time, Mr. Apleni, by the time he appears in court, and I think the date set down was March the 6th. So what happens in a case where he is now in the country, his visa has expired, there's court action pending? Is there an extension granted? Well, what is the remedy there?
Well, you remember, it depends now. There is a circumstance now which has happened. It's like that I can be in South Africa, I have no issues, then you get sick on 2 days before you leave. Then it's something which is beyond your control. Then in that case, we'll be able, without even saying we have extended, because you are in the hospital, but when you get out of the airport, we'll know that, hey man, we have overstayed, but what were reasons? And they say, no, I was hospitalized or I was arrested. Then in those circumstances, we won't be able to declare you undesirable because you were not here in this country illegally based on your choice.
We've seen in other countries the immigration protocol, if someone is arrested and there might have been charges against them, that they're very stringent in allowing them to re-enter the country. Could this serve as could this serve as a permanent mark against Mos Def? And if he does try, once this is all resolved, depending on which way it goes, would he be allowed access and entry into South Africa in the future?
No, we are a welcoming country, and always myself or anyone, whether I'm a South African, I will make a mistake, I will be sentenced, I will serve myself, but I don't get really for my life, I'm not giving a life sentence to Mos Def or anyone. If the court decides that no, what the sanction is giving him maybe is to leave the country, then he will leave the country. After that has expired, he will be able to come back to the country. It will depend on what the circumstances are. As I'm saying, that the issue which we have with him is the documentation which he is using. If the court deals with that tomorrow or that day, he can come with a proper document to South Africa, no problem.
All right, thank you very much for talking to us tonight. Mkuseli Apleni is the Director General of Home Affairs.